Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ben, Architect Ben, and today I just want to make a little sense. My father was feeding over 1,000 people every day, so that makes him, greater than someone who is drilling boreholes, renovating schools, and building schools. What a talk. If you're watching me today and you're listening to me right now, my prayer for you and for myself is that may our kids not be a reason why people will ridicule our names in the future when we are way gone. May our kids not be a reason why our good names or our legacies that we've left behind will be rubbished by anyone. That's my prayer for you. That's my prayer for myself. That our kids rather will be reasons why our names will be highly lifted up. Our names will be highly appreciated long after we are gone. You know what? Based on this, I usually ask my kids every day, between myself and you guys, who should be greater? And because they know my philosophy already, they'll say that we should be greater than you. And I ask them questions. How do you intend to be greater than me and your mom in the future? I try to tickle their brain and hear from them what their thoughts are regarding being greater than ourselves, because that is what life should be, rather, really, our kids being greater than us after we are way long gone. I find it strange because today I'm talking about the son of a legend. Yeah, a great man, a legend. Fela Kuti is a great legend, is a great man. And today his son, not Femi, Seun Kuti, is dragging his father's name in the mud in the public space. On the internet, everywhere, online and offline right now, people are ridiculing his father's name because of what he said. I believe that Seun is well read. I don't know what level of academics he achieved. I don't know his level of academics really. But I believe that fund wasn't a problem for Seun to go to school because they have all the wherewithal, all the resources to train Seun to whatever level he wants to in school. But unfortunately, it seems school didn't really pass through him. And based on that, again, I always ask my kids when they come up from school, what did you learn in school today? I want them to break down to me what they learned in school to be sure that they were able to grasp, understand, and apply what they learned logically, so that I'll be sure that they're not just passing through the four walls of the school or through the school playground, but academics is really passing through them. That's very, very important. Because I believe that Seun must have been able to, go to school. But unfortunately, the analytical, aspect of his mind is not really functioning and working well. Because if that is working and functioning well, he won't say what he said about his dad. Unfortunately. I said about it with that quote, my dad was feeding over 1,000 people every day. So that makes him greater than someone that has been drilling boreholes, building schools, renovating schools with his NGO. Unfortunately. Now, when I listened to that video, in fact, I wanted to just have a little sneak peek into that video. I will come back and analyze.
That's a video they dig borehole. What if Fela don't do? Fela fed 1,000 people every day.
Yeah, I believe you have watched that video and what Seun said about his dad being greater than Vidian, that is drilling boreholes and renovating and building schools with NGO because the dad was feeding about 1,000 people every day. In Seun's mind, was he thinking that feeding people every day is an achievement? Was he thinking that feeding people is a legacy project? If it is, then the politicians are great. If it is, then the politicians are doing a great job because that's what the politicians do and keep the people poor. Feed them. And that's it. give them food, and that's it. No skills, no infrastructure, nothing. Just give them food, and that ends it. Isn't that what the politicians are using today to tie people down in poverty? So when did feeding people become a thing of pride that we should pride ourselves in? Come on, when I heard that comment, I bled for Fela. Because if truly the dead can hear us, Fela will be turning his grave right now by hearing what his son said about him. Deserving all the achievements Fela had while he was alive. The Gen Zs don't know Fela the way we do. We that they call us probably old school right now because I was born in the 70s. The Gen Zs don't really understand who Fela is or what Fela stood for. When Calcutta Republic was destroyed, even though I was a little boy, I still had the understanding. When Fela was going through all the incarcerations and everything, all the whole punishment from the government, at least we know all the struggles. That didn't deter him, that didn't stop him. But Fela stood strong and firm for the people and never for one day relented in fighting for the voiceless. Those are things Seun should be saying online and in public to build his father's name and legacy. Not that the father fed over 1,000 people every day. Come on, you just brought your dad to the level of politicians. You just brought your dad down to the floor by saying such a thing. How on earth can you equate stomach infrastructure to actual infrastructure? My question to Seun is, all the feeding the father did while he was alive, did they outlive Fela? No. Now, when Fela died, did the feeding continue? No. I believe in when Fela became critically ill, that feeding stopped, that feeding program stopped. And so why should you use that feeding as a yardstick to say your dad is greater than VDM? In fact, what you just confirmed to the people right now, based on what you said about your father's legacy project, which is feeding over 1,000 people per day, is that you have confirmed to those who are saying VDM is greater than your dad that they are right. Because every right-thinking individual knows that feeding people cannot equate to real-life project and infrastructural development. Come on. Like I said, did the feeding your dad did those days, did they outlive him? Can you bring forth people who your dad fed to show that by the feeding, this is what I achieved and this is where I am today in life? Can you do that? I believe no. Another thing is the fact that the feeding your dad did at that point in time, over 1,000 people per day, probably those are selected people. These are people from his community. These are people from his tribe, or people that are in one way or the other, linked to who know who that can come and have the feeding, not everyone. But the boreholes that are being dug today by VDM and the schools that are being built or renovated, anybody can attend. Anybody can go to those schools. Not minding your religion, your tribe, your ethnicity, or whatever. So those are the considerations you should have thought about before saying your dad was feeding 1,000 people, so therefore it's greater than somebody who is drilling boreholes and renovating or building schools. I don't know who are your advisors, Seun, but what you just did was you just ridiculed your dad and brought his name into the mud. In fact, at this point, whenever you have any personal beef with anyone, don't even bring your father into it. Don't bring your father into it. He's too great a man to be brought low when you're having issues with people of your age range or age mark. You are doing your father a very great disservice by saying such a thing, Seun. Even I will tell you point blank that you have just disgraced your father by just, limiting to feeding people as his achievement. We that respect Fela, it's a great hurt to us. VDM is doing great, very, very great. We all know that. And VDM, on his own standing, respects your dad so much. So why do you want to bring people now to start, comparing him that respected that so much. That is absurd. Like I said, if no one will tell you, I will tell you this, Seun. And as I asked the question, you passed through school, the school really passed through you before you analyze what you did, before coming on air to say what your father did as his achievements. If you must know, the boreholes Bidem is drilling and constructing today will far outlive him when he's way long gone. Because people will still use those boreholes and use those facilities and infrastructure, the schools and that is doing building and renovating. They will outlive all of us if well maintained and well renovated. They will outlive all of us. But the feeding your dad, did it outlive your dad or anyone? No, they didn't. And if you must know, feeding people is not an achievement. Like the Chinese philosopher said, rather than give me fish to eat, teach me how to fish. So if you're saying your dad, build industries, build skill acquisition centers and all that, and people are, coming and having, skills and acquiring all kinds of knowledge and understanding, that is way better. Not that your father was feeding 1,000 people per day, so that makes him a legend. That was what made your father a legend. Even for me, I never knew that. I'm just hearing that for the first time today. Probably you knew it because you are part of the family. Ask people on the street. No one knew that Fela was doing that. What we knew Fela for was way different from feeding people. Anybody could have fed anyone. And that's why I say you just brought your dad to the level of politicians, which is unfortunate, Seun. So please, I want you to go back online and correct the narrative. Your dad wasn't great because he was feeding 1,000 people per day. If that's what made him great, then unfortunately he's not great. And that's validating people who are saying Bidem is greater than your dad, because Bidem isn't feeding people. Even though he does that quietly, but what he's doing is way greater than feeding people. Giving people a livelihood, empowering people, building schools, renovating schools, that's far greater an achievement that would definitely outlive him, even with the short span of time that he has used to get these achievements put together. So go back online and really talk about what your father did for the people, so that will clean the heart of the Gen Zs that are believing right now that Bidem is greater than your dad. It's an advice anyways. So it's a choice whether take the advice or just throw it into the trash can. It's an advice. But please, Seun, it is high time you step out of your father's shadow and create your own legacy for yourself. Because you've lived under your father's shadow all this while. It's high time you step out of your father's shadow and create your own legacy based on your own merit. That's my candid advice. People are saying it. Seun is nothing without his father's name. Enough of people saying that about you. It is high time you go out there and create a name for yourself, so that your own kids will not bank on their grandfather's name, but bank on their own father's name, which is you, Seun Kuti. I'm wishing you all the best as you try to step out of your father's shadow and create your own name. And please, before you go out there to say anything in public, sit down, think about it, ask people around you what I'm going to say. Will it make sense or not? If it don't make sense, don't go say it. If it makes sense, then you can go and say it. And I want you to divorce yourself from your father today. Don't get your father embroiled in any fracas you have with anyone. It makes no sense. Let your dad continue to rest in peace, and let the memory we have of him continue to dwell in our minds. And once again, my prayer for all of you watching and listening to me, may our children not be a reason why anybody will drag my name in the mud. May our children not be the reason why anyone will come and say, your dad, your mom didn't do anything tangible to society. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. Once again, my name is Ben, Architect Ben. See you in my next video. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on the notification button as well. God bless you. Bye for now.